you seen on tape from this Bengals defense?
Yeah, they're really good. And we've seen a lot of the film, and they're able to do a lot of things on defense, and they're really well coached. And they've got some really athletic guys in the secondary that are able to make plays all over the field, and they've got a really good front seven. So it's going to take a lot from us.
Joe Burrow said this week that you guys became close during the combine process, and have you guys spoken since then?
We haven't spoken since then, but Joe was a great guy to meet, and always rooting for him, and the things he's had, the success he's had over the past couple of years has been awesome, and always cheering for the best for him.
Is it? I mean, obviously being in the same draft class, anything special about going out and playing against him this weekend?
I think every opportunity you get to play against a great quarterback like that is special. But it's about us and the defense, and we got to go out and we got to move the ball and we got to convert on third down. We have to do all these things so that we were able to put up points on Sunday.
How much do you think it helps in having Jamar Chase, since they had to report in college where, if you could have brought one of your Oregon receivers would have come over here in the pros just to report and having that knowledge?
Yeah, I think timing is huge. I think when you get to know a receiver, when he breaks out of routes and what he's going to do in specific situations, I think that's super helpful. And, unfortunately, it's probably a new system that they have to learn, and a whole bunch of new terminology and language they have to learn. But, they've got a big step up on everyone.
Justin, you didn't play in the game last year, the week one game. But just from watching from one game, did that help you out in any way for the year you had last year?
I think anytime you're able to watch on the sideline, there are things that you can learn and pick up. I would have loved to have watched more games and learned more, but that's the situation that it was, and got to pick up as much as I could from Tyrod and those guys in the quarterback room. So it was a lot of learning for sure.
Do you feel like you learned more trial by fire?
I think there are good and bad things to both sides of the thing. I think if you learn by watching, I think you're able to pick up on a lot of things. But at the same time, going through and living through those experiences, and whether it's good or bad, you have to learn from them. So I think you're able to learn from both sides.
Justin, going through what you guys did as a team last year and suffering those losses and sort of being out of it late in the season, does it make you appreciate having this opportunity here to be playing meaningful games in December?
Yeah, I think that is a really good point of looking back and realizing where you were, and all those losses last year, they make you appreciate the ones this year and the close games that we did put away this year. And it's a tough league, and wins do not come easy, and every win is a grind. And you ask any of the guys in that locker room, the week is the toughest part of the week, and just going through and studying film and going through the weights and all those practices. We're just happy to be here and hopefully playing our best. So there's a lot to look forward to.
With all the drop passes, have you guys maybe spent time after practice, or have you guys been working through that, trying to maybe get on the same page with the receivers and maybe less drops happen during the game?
I don't think drops have been that. I don't think we've struggled with drops. I think the receivers have done an incredible job of getting open, and I've done my best to get them the ball. And yeah, we could be more perfect. I could put the ball better, but I think they're battling for every ball, and they're coming up with some really tight contested catches, which I think is huge from those guys.
You talked about how much you've learned and how this has been a learning process ever since you made your first start. But just to put it into words, how much more do you know about football, about opposing defenses now than you did when you showed up at training camp as a rookie?
Yeah, I think the more you learn, the more you realize that you don't know as much as you think you do. And I think this past year you kind of find out that there's so much more that goes into football than what I expected. And defenses and the way the linebackers line up and where the safeties rotate and how they disguise things, those are things that we didn't really get the time to spend on last year. It was more of learning the offense and just getting you ready to play football. And the more you kind of dive into it, the more there is. And so that's one of the things that we've looked at this year, of just kind of diving into it and having fun, especially with Shane Day and Joe Lombardi, having those guys there. They've seen it all, so I've been able to learn a bunch from them.
And then what about having Chase in the room? Obviously a guy that's seen a lot. What has he meant to you?
Chase is awesome. He has had so much experience, and he's been able to see so many different offenses, so many different defenses, and he's a great kind of buffer between the coaches and me, and if there's ever a problem or anything, and if I'm murky on a read or anything like that, I go to Chase, and Chase says, this is how I think about it, this is how I see it, and then we all come together and we talk about it. And Chase is one of those guys that he's just been around for so long, and he knows the game so well, and he's had a lot of success over the years.
Justin, it's been kind of up and down with the running game, and I'm sure you love throwing the ball at a high rate, but just getting that running game on track, how does that help you as a quarterback?
I think we love to move the ball as well as we can offensively, whether that's through the air or on the ground. And, I think the guys up front have done an incredible job of blocking all year, and they've given me plenty of time to throw the ball. And anytime you get a guy like Eck or Justin Jackson, Josh Kelly, all those guys in the backfield, they're going to fight for every yards they can get.
It's my cleats weekend, and you got to unveil yours with the elementary school kids yesterday. Just what made you choose them and the whole process with that?
Yeah, it was actually a school that we found close to SoFi Stadium up in Los Angeles, and got to spend a day with them. And we donated some equipment for them to go back to school safely, and just got to spend the day with them playing catch, playing tag out at recess, and just got to spend time with them having lunch. And I think it was a great opportunity for us to kind of go back to them and continue to help them out, because I remember when I was that age, and having that type of role model or influence in my life helped me a ton.
Just in terms of, pushing the ball downfield, obviously something you did a lot last year. It just seems like this year when you guys have had those plays sort of express themselves, like protection breakdowns, you just haven't been able to access that part of the field as regularly. Does it get frustrating, when you have those play action shot plays called and they just don't come to fruition, maybe the way that they did last year when you had all those, 50-yard touchdowns?
I think that's the NFL, unfortunately, and you'd love to be able to push the ball down the field as much as you can, and especially when we got the weapons like Mike Williams, Keenan, those guys that are able to get past defenders. But sometimes the defense they look at film too, and they get deep, and you have to check it down, and sometimes you have to scramble, and you're blocking some really athletic guys on defense, and I think there's so much that goes into it, and we'd love to be able to push the ball and throw the ball as far as we can, but that's just not going to happen every time.
What does it mean possibly getting Matt back this week for the line?
Yeah, Matt he's been one of those guys that we've relied on all year, and he's done an incredible job filling in. And I know he's hurting, but he's a tough guy, and if he could have been out there last week, I know he would have been. And he's been incredible all year long, and it would mean a lot to us to have him back.
What do your bracelets represent?
This one just has my tracer on it, and this is just a headband.
I don't care about that one. The blue one is what?
Oh, that was just to show our vaccination status.
To do what?
Our vaccination status.
Oh.